never see people discuss this, but you have to be the strongest woman in the world to be best friends with Beyoncé. Yes, we know who Kelly is. We know who Michelle is. Those are her best friends. We know all of that. But wherever you go, you will always be a shadow to Beyoncé. Always be a shadow. Yes, again, people can like you. And of course, that is not to say Kelly can't stand on her own. We know who Kelly is. I'm a Kelly fan. We love Kelly. She has accolades. She's amazing, beautiful, creative, and talented. But y'all know what I'm talking about when it comes to standing next to Beyonce. Like, you will always be a shadow to her. You both walk into a room together. It's all about Beyonce. And it's not because of you're less than, but it's like, it's Beyonce. She's more well known and people like her more. And the human beings, we all have an innate desire to be seen and to be cared for and to be liked. And a lot of times, if you're not getting that, and it's like over and over and over again, you're being pushed to the side over and over, that can get to somebody. That can get to somebody. It doesn't matter how strong you are. And I just wonder the dynamic between their friendship. Like, do they discuss this stuff? Do they talk about it? Is Beyonce like, I understand, I see you, it's okay? Like, I really wonder if like Kelly is in therapy, because I would have to be in therapy, because I know I would not be able to do it. And for the most part, yes, I'm not perfect. I'm imperfect. I have insecurities that I get insecure about. And sometimes I have jealousy that pops up here and there. I'm a human being, and I'm going through a human experience. But I am not strong enough to be able to stand next to someone like Beyonce, because you will never be seen. People don't see you.
Did you ever listen to Dirty Laundry by Kelly Rowland? If you haven't, please listen to it. Because that song teaches you about Kelly's journey, and I'm sure, definitely more sure, she's still in therapy. She's still healing. She's still unpacking yourself, the journey, because you'll never really outgrow certain you can, but you never really outgrow that journey, right? So Beyonce having a friendship with Kelly Rowland has always had its roller coaster. Not that Kelly has never felt jealousy and desire to be where Beyonce is. She has openly, loudly spoken about it, mainly because the media has made her that way, to feel that way, right? And what you guys don't also see is that Beyonce is also a human, right? And her life also has never been so perfect. All right, with so much people liking you comes envy and jealousy, right? People want your life, right? And she's aware of that, Beyonce. She's aware of that. She is equally in therapy herself, right? Even the men that she loved the most could never really love her for her. It took years for Jay-Z to get to that point where he is with Beyonce, right? And Beyonce has friendships out of their circles as well. And we're going to discuss those. It's not me, but we are going to discuss those friendships so that you can see, so that you can expand your mind that Beyonce does have friendships outside of the people that you think she has a close tie circle with. It's not just Kelly and Michelle, it's others as well. And her circle is very tight because she's aware of that very same thing that you're talking about. And Kelly knows that she's light herself, so she does not feel overshadowed by Beyonce in any way. I wouldn't even feel overshadowed by Beyonce anyway. Ooh, being by her means that I'm closer to greatness as well. Like, I feel utmost privileged. Like, I would feel happy and content with the fact that I'm closer to someone like that, and I have the privilege to know someone like that, and I have the honor to befriend someone like that. but I'm never going to put her on a pedestal. The problem starts when you put other people on a pedestal instead of putting yourself on a pedestal. I am me. What do you mean? And that's how you should see yourself.
One of my favorite underrated music friendships is Beyoncé and Frank Ocean, but we really only get crumbs of their friendship, so let's talk a little bit about them. I think a lot of us have seen the clip of Beyoncé talking about how she found out who Frank Ocean was for the first time, but I'll include it in the video anyway.
I was in the car and my husband was playing this music, and this guy's tone and his lyrics just touched me. And after one song, I said, okay, who is that? Because I want them on a flight tonight. And he told me it was Frank Ocean. And I immediately reached out, and he came in the next day and we did like 5 or 6 songs. And he is just so humble, such a nice person, really, really talented, very fast. He just has so many ideas, and it's great because he's an artist, and I can't wait for everyone to hear him because he's just the truth.
And as she said, they then went on to work together. Frank Ocean then posting this picture of the two of them in the studio together, and then captioning it, "This is the room I'm working in this day. Not to brag, but man, this is surreal. Like she's singing my songs. If time were to stop right now, the past couple weeks would be near the top of the highlight reel for my short time on Earth." In an interview, Frank Ocean talked about meeting Beyoncé for the first time, and this is what he said, saying it was like walking into a heavy room as Jay, Ye, and Bey and others were there. He was then asked if he was checking Beyoncé out, to which he responded, "I said hello and greeted her as I greeted everyone else." He handled that question very well. And some of the songs that they worked on together then did end up being released, one of them being I Miss You from Beyoncé's album 4. I Miss You being a song that Frank Ocean helped co-write. Frank sang about making this song. She came in and heard the song and she shed a tear and recorded it, and I wanted to shed a tear. We actually have versions of both of them singing this song, Frank one time performing it live and Beyoncé putting it on her album. They then put out their third collab with Beyoncé being featured on Pink and White on Blonde. Although she's not really featured, as she mostly just did the background vocals. It's kind of a hidden little if you know, you know. I think a lot about how Beyoncé said in that studio session they ended up making like 5 or 6 songs together, and yet we have yet to hear them all. I would love if they made an EP with all of the songs, but I don't know if we'll ever get that lucky. Their friendship does run deeper than just a work friendship though. For instance, in 2012, Beyoncé ended up showing support for Frank Ocean on her social media when he ended up coming out. Her posting this picture of him with a poem that she wrote over it, which says, "Be fearless, be honest, be generous, be brave, be poetic, be open, be free, be yourself, be in love, be happy, be inspiration." This was posted on her website for everyone to read, which I think was really sweet of her to do. Now, obviously, we don't see a lot of their friendship because the two of them are incredibly private. They both very much like to keep their personal lives personal, and then their albums are their art. But like I said, we do get crumbs, like this picture of the two of them sat together at the 2013 Met Gala. Or this tweet where Frank said, "It's a bad trend that artists try to muscle for credits on songs they had no part in writing. Writers just say no unless it's Beyoncé, LOL." Frank Ocean has also been caught undercover at so many of Beyoncé's concerts. He always tries to keep a low profile, but someone always ends up finding him. Like this picture of him being spotted at Beyoncé's Formation tour in 2016. Or this tweet where someone said, "Just my luck to run into Frank Ocean. Beyoncé's dressing room is behind those curtains." This being for the On the Run 2 tour. Or this picture of him being spotted at the Renaissance tour in 2023 in London. One thing about Frank Ocean is he is not going to miss a Beyoncé tour, and I'm really curious if we're going to end up seeing him at one of the Cowboy Carter shows. Y'all are going to have to keep an eye out because he always ends up being spotted. Beyoncé also often posts happy birthdays for him on her website, which she does for many artists. I just think it's really nice to know that for over 10 years they've been supporting each other. So that's it for this video. I have my fingers crossed that we'll get another collab from them one day.